Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the free-to-play STR YAMCHA that's just come out on Global as part of the Path to Power story event, alongside the summonable units and the LR Jackie Chun from the World Tournament. I did get him to level 10 links. You can see something, of course, straight away here. Why? They did the same thing with the Heroes unit from the end of last year. Why are they bringing out free-to-play units that only have 6 links? I don't understand. Like, they could have thought of some other link that he could have. I mean, he has the links like Flea, which is pretty terrible. To be fair, all the rest are fine, considering the team that he's on. But come on, like, there's got to be some other link that you could have thought to give him. But yeah, he's got 6 links, which is a little bit annoying. He is a Dragon Ball Saga lead for 50%. Now, he is one of these free-to-play units. They have not given him an immediate Easy A. So that does mean that at some point in the future, if we get another Dragon Ball Saga related celebration, he could then get an Easy A. Because of course that bumps his leader skill up to 77%. So that is something to bear in mind for the future. His super attack, he raises attack for 1 turn, does supreme damage to the enemy. And then his passive, so he's kind of interesting. He gets attack and defense 150%. Then he gets an additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super attack. So those are pretty big numbers for a free-to-play unit. Obviously, he's got free-to-play stats, so obviously the numbers aren't going to jump up as much as if it was an LR having that kind of passive. But the rest of his passive is kind of interesting because it entirely revolves around a Peppy Gals ally on the team. So you can see here, well, actually no, he gives super class allies 1 key and attack and defense 20%. That's before the semicolon, so he always does that. The whole of the rest of the bottom part of his passive is when there is a Peppy Gals ally on the team. It's how you get all of the rest of this. So he gets an additional 100% defense, and then starting from the 5th turn, you get an additional key 1 and attack and 20. Oh no, wait, hang on. Yeah, man, I hate the way some of these passives are written. So, an additional defense 100% and, comma, starting from the 5th turn of the battle, comma, an additional 1 key and attack and defense 20% for superclass allies, and launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack. So looking at it on the Dokkan wiki, where it's broken down into bullet points, it says, when there is a Peppy Gals ally on the team, plus an additional defense 100%, then it separates it on here and says, starting from the 5th turn, an additional key plus 1 and 20% attack for superclass allies. So I actually cannot tell whether you get the extra defense at the start of the fight, or if you get it at the 5th turn. It's worded so badly, I actually genuinely do not understand. So we are either getting 100% extra defense because we have Bulma on the team, or we're not. Now, I think we possibly are, right? Because he gets attack and defense 150%. He is a free-to-play unit, so he has 7,345 defense at Rainbow. But then remember, he's getting another 100% on super attack. So that's going to put him up to basically having like 300k defense. So for a free-to-play unit, I'm assuming that means he is getting the extra 100% defense now. I probably wouldn't put him in slot 1. This isn't a great rotation, but since the enemy is almost dead, that is pretty good timing. So I guess we'll just go ahead and do this and get him to finish him off. So we've got a few of his links active. No support. 3.15. I mean, honestly, that's not bad. I think the good thing about this unit, him releasing as part of this celebration, obviously you have to bear in mind that he will be activating the Dokkan Fest Kid Goku's unit super attack. So obviously that is very beneficial. Let's grab this, go ahead and get the 7 orbs for you, and then I might as well grab this for you. So basically the main use of this Yamcha is essentially just a free-to-play unit that you can run on Kid Goku's team, who's going to provide support, and obviously he activates Goku's unit super, because if you do have Hachan, if you manage to pull him off of the banner as well, you can only run him on 1 rotation with 1 of the Kid Gokus. So, you know, you need a unit that's going to trigger the other Goku's unit super attack. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily run this Yamcha on main rotation, but if he's floating, then obviously he's going to be providing the Goku on whatever turn he comes onto with the unit super, as well as the extra support. So again, I believe that the extra support that he's going to give because of the Pepigal's ally is only from turn 5, which is an extra 1 key and 20% attack and defense for super class allies. He also launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. So when he gets his easy A, if they change his super attack effect to raise attack and defense for 1 turn, then I feel like that could be pretty good. Now, the only downside, of course, is going to be the fact... Hang on. Yes, he shares 3 links with Kid Goku. Yeah, I guess we're stuck in yet another situation where the enemy's just getting killed this turn. So I guess I might as well do this. And then do this. Now, the only downside to this whole thing, of course, is that you have to run a Pepigal's ally on the team. So you can see here, now that we're on turn 5, I don't have any support on the rotation. I'm just... Actually, let me double check. You don't give any extra support, do you? I'm pretty sure you don't. No, you do not. So, we are now getting the extra 1 key and 20% support because you can see our defense has now gone up to 172k as opposed to 150 something. So, he should now launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. I gave him mostly crit and dodge because, let's be honest, if I am going to actually use him on this team, it's going to be as a floating support unit. And at the end of the day, he's a free-to-play unit, right? So if he eventually gets an easy A and they change his kit, maybe they do give him raises attack and defense for 1 turn, then I probably will go ahead and change, give him a bit more additional, because then as a slot 3 unit, you're going to want him to get those extra super attacks off to raise his defense for the turn. But because he doesn't raise defense on super, there's not really a huge amount of point of him doing a ton of additional attacks when his main role on the team really is just going to be a support unit. So I think giving him a bunch of dodge, like if you have a support unit that doesn't really in any way boost up their own defense, I think dodge is still a very viable option for them. And obviously, even though we're showcasing him, so I'm going to keep him on main rotation, but normally you're just going to have him in slot 3. You wouldn't normally keep him on main rotation. I mean, even though he can trigger the Kid Goku's unit super, I don't think you would really run him on main rotation, right? I know Goku's team, because it includes Exploding Rage, and then the 30% goes to Bond of Friendship, there's quite a few Gokus you can run on the team, so you probably would just run them over running this Yamcha, but he is a good free-to-play option for the team. And going back to what I was saying before I got distracted by looking at his defense for that turn, the only downside to using this unit is I would say you have to run a Pepigal's ally on the team. Otherwise, there's no point running him, right? Because otherwise, he's just giving the 1 key and 20%. He gets his 150 start of turn and then 100% on super, and that's it. With the Pepigal's ally, he's getting that extra 100% defense. So if he didn't have that in that first turn where we saw he was at like 150k, that would have been 75, and then going up to 150 on super because of the 100% raise, and then that's it. And that's obviously, I mean, people will say, and they probably won't even be necessarily far off the mark, people will say that like 150k 300k after super isn't high enough anymore, which for big red zone bosses, that is kind of accurate. But you see on this turn where we've got the extra defensive support from Kid Gohan, he's got almost 200k defense before he supers. So for a free-to-play unit, the fact that he's getting close to 400k defense after supering, with support on the rotation, but I would say that that is still pretty good. So I'm definitely not going to risk putting him in slot 1 on this rotation, though, even though we are trying to showcase this unit. I'm also not crazy, right? I'm not putting an STR unit that gets a load of defense on super against, what was that, 5 or 6 attacks from an AGL unit in slot 1. Even with 20 dodge, I don't think that's a good idea. If Goku doesn't get any like additional supers, he might not kill. But then remember, Kid Gohan's not giving any attack support, so we're not going to see much of a different attack stat from what we saw on the previous turn. Now, of course, if you're running him as a floating unit on Kid Goku's team, that means you're always going to have a Kid Goku on rotation with him, whether he's in slot 1 or 2, which means if you're able to pick up the 7 orbs, which we did on this turn, now unfortunately we are just going to kill Oceanus, so this turn's not the best example, but this means that if Oceanus had had more health, or if we were just in a different phase altogether, he would be getting up to almost 400k defense after supering, and then thanks to Kid Goku, he's got 8% damage reduction on top of that. So I do think that is actually pretty good. Like, for a free-to-play unit, I would say that that is definitely not bad. We can't get the 7 orbs here, but that's fine, because Hachan's a defensive god anyway, and then Kid Goku's got type advantage on this particular rotation, so don't need to worry about that too much. But yeah, honestly, for a free-to-play unit, I think this Yamcha is actually pretty cool. It's nice to see Yamcha getting a good card. And then, of course, not long after this, on JP, he's not out on Global yet, we got the Dokkan Fest Yamcha, who is actually quite good as well. Actually very good. So, good to see Yamcha getting a bit of love. I mean, Dragon Ball Saga was probably, like, the last time Yamcha was really relevant, so it is kind of cool to see the Dragon Ball Saga Yamcha actually being pretty good. And one thing I will say as well, I actually really like his super attack animation. I think his super attack animation is really cool for a free-to-play unit. A lot of care has gone into that. So, like, he's a free-to-play unit, but very, very solid-looking super attack animation. So 3 million attack stat from this bomber. The Easy A physical bomb was decent. She's, in my opinion, she's probably the best choice to bring as, like, the Peppy Gal's unit that you're going to run on the team. But alright, so you can get 7 orbs for Kid Goku. I need to try not to get any same type orbs here, because then we won't get the Dokkan attack, because I want Yamcha to actually be able to attack. So this is a turn with no support. Yeah, 172k thanks to that extra little chunk from his passive. And then remember, not only is he doing all of that, as I say, his main purpose is going to be running him as a support unit. He's giving everyone on the rotation 2 ki and 40% attack and defense. And that's not limited to any categories or anything like that. It's just super class allies. So everyone on this rotation, including the you know, Carnival Super Saiyan Goku, who isn't on a lot of these guys like shared categories, he's getting that 40% support from Yamcha as well. So definitely very, very good. Kid Goku could still actually kill him here if he goes absolutely ham, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't. But I think actually, to be honest, even if he just additional supers, he might kill him. But as I say, we've kind of seen what Yamcha can do in terms of his numbers, and this is just an example. Yeah, of course he does. This is just an example of what I was talking about, right? You use him on the team as a support unit, and then he allows Kid Goku to just go off, do numbers like this, and yeah, as a third slot floating support, especially as a free-to-play, having, you know, 300k, 350, depending on the rest of the rotation, that kind of level of defense, when you are basically just there to provide support, I think is actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and, I mean, I'm going to just end the showcase now, really, but let's go ahead and, I got this on skip? Yeah, let's fire off the active skill here. And then I can't not get the super this turn. Or sorry, the Dokkan attack. So let me see if I can actually just get it with... Of course I can't get you 7 orbs. We'll give you this for the extra damage reduction. A last couple of videos I've done of using Kid Goku and showing off other units on this Shadow Dragon red zone. Goku's gotten super attacked in slot 2. And I was just about to say, so watch me get super attacked in slot 1, now that I've put him in slot 1. I saw every single video that I've done on this Shadow Dragon stage using this team has ended with Kid Goku getting super attacked. But yeah, anyway, I think that was a pretty good showing for our boy Yamcha. Definitely a solid free-to-play unit. Could potentially get an Easy A in the future. So I do like it when they do this, right? Because when they bring out free-to-play units and they just kind of suck, but then they give them an Easy A straight away, and then that makes them somewhat runnable, that means that's that entire unit's like shelf life. And once they age out, there's no coming back. Whereas this Yamcha, I would say that against, you know, not against super tough red zone bosses, but for the most part, he's like pretty runnable. And he doesn't have an Easy A yet, so I do think that is pretty good. I think he can be a good free-to-play option for this team. So let me know what you guys think down below. Have you farmed him up? Have you started link leveling him at all? Let me know your thoughts on this free-to-play Yamcha down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.